You feel it, don't you? That quiet ache, that restless hunger, that gnawing sense that you're missing something when you talk to her. You see her, her eyes, her smile, her energy, and you freeze. Words stumble out, or worse, they don't come at all. You try to be charming, funny, confident, but it falls flat. You walk away feeling smaller, weaker, less than the man you know you could be. You tell yourself it's just a bad moment, a missed chance, but deep down, you know the truth. You're not connecting. You're not captivating. You're not seen. And that failure? It's not just a rejection. It's a wound, carved into your soul every time you fail to reach her. Why do you keep missing the mark? Why do your conversations with women feel like a performance that never lands, a script that never works? You've tried the lines, the tips, the hacks from self-styled gurus promising to make you irresistible. You've memorized openers, practiced banter, chased the perfect vibe. But it's all smoke and mirrors, and you feel it. The more you try to game her, the further you drift from something real. The more you play the role, the less she sees you. Carl Gustav Jung, that piercing Swiss psychologist from a century ago, saw through this charade. From his study, unraveling the mysteries of the human psyche, he uncovered a truth so raw, so unsettling, it's been overlooked by every pickup artist and dating coach. The way to make a woman want you isn't a trick, it's a transformation. It's not a hack, it's a reckoning. It's a dark, dangerous conversation, not just with her, but with yourself. You don't want to hear this. You want a quick fix, a magic line, a secret technique that makes her fall for you without effort. You want to believe charm is a skill you can learn, that attraction is a formula you can crack. But your life tells a different story. Your interactions are shallow, your connections fleeting. Your confidence a fragile mask that crumbles under her gaze. You're not just failing to win her, you're failing to be you. Your words are hollow because your soul is hidden. Your presence is weak because your truth is buried. And Jung, with his unrelenting insight into the human heart, would ask, why are you hiding from her? Why are you so afraid to show her who you are? Here's the brutal truth. The dark conversation hack that makes any woman want you isn't about what you say, it's about who you become. It's not a tactic, it's a confrontation with your shadow, your fears, your false self. But there's a method, a structure, a way to bridge the gap between your soul and hers. It's a cycle of 2 questions and a validating statement, a process that builds trust, rapport, and connection, not by manipulating her, but by meeting her where she is. It's a tool that demands you listen, understand, and reflect her truth back to her, all while staying grounded in your own. Jung saw attraction as a dance of souls, a meeting of the masculine and the feminine, the conscious and the unconscious. Women don't want your lines, they want your essence. They don't want your performance. They want your presence. They don't want a hack. They want a man who's faced his darkness and emerged whole. The system, dating coaches, social norms, your own insecurities, keeps you chasing superficial tricks. But Jung's truth, paired with this dark conversational cycle, cuts deeper. To make her want you, you must first want yourself. Not the mask you wear, but the man you've buried. You've been taught a brutal lesson. You're either in control or you're under control. There's no middle ground, no gray area, just a stark choice that haunts every interaction. You approach her, heart pounding, mind racing, desperate to steer the conversation, to win her over, to prove you're enough. You think control is the key. Control your words, your tone, your image. But the harder you grip, the more she slips away. Your need to control betrays your fear, your insecurity, your disconnection from yourself, and she feels it. She senses the man behind the mask, the one who's afraid to let go, afraid to be seen, afraid to lose. Jung would see this obsession with control as a denial of the psyche. He believed the human soul thrives in mystery, in the interplay of conscious and unconscious forces. Attraction isn't about controlling her. It's about aligning with her, resonating with her, meeting her soul to soul. But the system feeds your fear, selling you the lie that control is power. It hands you scripts, techniques, strategies, promising you can master the game if you just follow the rules. And you try. You memorize openers, practice frame control, chase the alpha ideal. But every time you fail, the wound deepens. You're not failing to control her. You're failing to connect with her. You're not failing to win. You're failing to show up. You've been taught a brutal lesson. You're either in control or you're under control. There's no middle ground, no gray area, just a stark choice that haunts every interaction. You approach her, heart pounding, mind racing, desperate to steer the conversation, to win her over, to prove you're enough. You think control is the key. Control your words, your tone, your image. But the harder you grip, the more she slips away. Your need to control betrays your fear, your insecurity, your disconnection from yourself, and she feels it. She senses the man behind the mask, the one who's afraid to let go, afraid to be seen, afraid to lose. Jung would see this obsession with control as a denial of the psyche. He believed the human soul thrives in mystery, in the interplay of conscious and unconscious forces. Attraction isn't about controlling her. It's about aligning with her, resonating with her, meeting her soul to soul. But the system feeds your fear, selling you the lie that control is power. It hands you scripts, techniques, strategies, promising you can master the game if you just follow the rules. And you try. You memorize openers, practice frame control, chase the alpha ideal. But every time you fail, the wound deepens. You're not failing to control her. You're failing to connect with her. You're not failing to win. You're failing to show up. Look at your life. Really look at it. Your conversations with women are a pattern of trying, failing, and retreating. You approach her, mind scrambling for the right thing to say. You force a smile, deliver a line, hope for a spark. But her eyes glaze over, her responses grow short, and the moment slips away. You walk away replaying every word, every gesture, every mistake. You feel exposed, rejected, less than. You promise yourself you'll do better next time, but next time is the same. You're not connecting, you're performing. You're not present, you're pretending. You're not you, you're a shadow of the man you could be. Jung would call this a failure of individuation. Individuation is the process of becoming whole, of integrating your shadow, the parts of you you've buried, your fears, your desires, your truth. But you're not integrating anything. You're hiding, masking your insecurities with false confidence, your doubts with rehearsed lines, your soul with a performance. Every failed conversation is a mirror, showing you not her rejection, but your own. You're not failing to win her, you're failing to show up as you. And that failure, it's not her fault, it's yours, because you're too afraid to face the man you've buried. The dark conversation hack breaks this cycle, but not by giving you better lines. It demands you become a better man. It's a process. Ask 2 questions. Validate her response. Repeat. What's something you're passionate about right now? She talks about her arc. How does it feel when you're creating? She shares the joy, the struggle, the fire. You validate. That's powerful. It reminds me of the rush I get when I'm lost in something I love. You're not just talking. You're building a bridge, showing her you see her, you get her, you value her truth. But this only works if you're grounded in your own truth. If you're faking it, if you're chasing her approval, if you're hiding your shadow, she'll sense the disconnect. The hack isn't the cycle, it's the man behind it, the man who's faced his fears, who's integrated his anima, who's whole. You've been sold another lie. To make her want you, you must persuade her. The system, dating coaches, pickup artists, social media gurus, tells you attraction is about convincing her you're enough, selling her on your value, winning her over with charm. But persuasion is active, forceful, needy. It's you pushing your agenda, your image, your lies. And she feels it. She feels the effort, the desperation, the lack of truth. Persuasion might get her attention, but it won't get her desire. It might start a conversation, but it won't spark a connection. Jung would see persuasion as a betrayal of the psyche. He believed true connection comes from resonance, not coercion. Women are drawn to men who embody their truth, who carry their shadow, who've wrestled with their soul. Persuasion is about changing her mind. Resonance is about touching her heart. And the dark conversation hack isn't persuasion, it's influence, the kind that lingers when you're gone. It's the cycle of 2 questions and a validating statement, repeated with genuine curiosity. What's the best part of your day so far? She shares a moment of joy. What made it feel so special? She opens up, revealing her values. You validate. That's beautiful. It's like those rare moments when everything just clicks. You're not persuading her, you're showing her you understand her world, her truth, her soul. And that understanding? It's what makes her think of you when you're not there. What makes her feel you, what makes her want you. The system doesn't want you to know this. It confuses persuasion with influence, selling you tactics that keep you pushing, striving, performing. But influence is deeper, subtler, more powerful. It's the result of meeting her where she is, reflecting her values back to her, creating a connection she feels in her bones. If she values freedom, you talk about freedom. If she values creativity, you celebrate creativity. If she values family, you honor family. You don't impose your view, you amplify hers, not to manipulate, but to connect. And that connection, it's the seed of influence, the spark that makes her want you, not because you persuaded her, but because you saw her. Here's where Jung's truth meets the practical. The dark conversation hack is a cycle of 2 questions and a validating statement. But it's not a script, it's a mindset. It's about meeting her where she is, not where you want her to be. You ask questions to uncover her values, her truth, her world. What's something you're proud of right now? She talks about her career. How does it feel to achieve that? She shares her pride, her struggles, her fire. You validate, that's incredible. It reminds me of the drive I feel when I'm chasing something big. You're not just talking, you're resonating, showing her you see her, you get her, you value her. And that resonance, it's what makes her feel safe, seen, desired. Jung would call this the integration of the anima. The anima is the feminine archetype within you, the source of your empathy, your intuition, your connection to the unconscious. When you meet her where she is, when you listen, understand, reflect, you're channeling your anima, balancing your masculine strength with feminine depth. This balance is magnetic because it's whole. A man who's integrated his anima doesn't need to persuade, he connects. He doesn't need to control, he resonates. He doesn't need to hide, he shines.
But this hack demands courage. It means letting go of your agenda, your need to impress, your fear of rejection. It means asking real questions, not safe ones. It means validating her truth, not manipulating it. It means being present, not performing. And most of all, it means facing your shadow, the part of you that's afraid to be seen, afraid to be vulnerable, afraid to be enough. The dark conversation isn't just with her, it's with yourself. It's the moment you ask, what am I hiding? What truth am I afraid to share? When you face that truth, you become the man she wants, not because you hacked her, but because you hacked yourself. The system doesn't want you to face your shadow. It wants you shallow, insecure, dependent on its tricks. The dating industry, apps, coaches, gurus, thrives on your failure. It sells you lines that don't work, apps that keep you swiping, advice that keeps you chasing. It's a conspiracy of superficiality, designed to keep you focused on the surface, your looks, your words, your status, so you never dive into the depth of who you are. The system profits from your disconnection, because a disconnected man keeps playing the game, keeps spending, keeps needing. Jung saw this conspiracy in his time, in the rise of modernity, in the way society alienated people from their souls. He warned that a world obsessed with externals, money, power, image, would create a generation of lost souls, men and women cut off from their unconscious, their truth, their power. Today's dating culture is that world, amplified. It tells you to fix your profile, perfect your opener, master your frame. But it never tells you to fix yourself, to face your shadow, to become whole. Why? Because a whole man doesn't need this system. He doesn't buy the courses, swipe the apps, chase the hacks. He lives from truth, and truth is free.
The dark conversation hack is a rebellion against this conspiracy. It's a tool, yes, a cycle of 2 questions and a validating statement, but it's more than that. It's a mindset, a commitment to connection over control, to resonance over persuasion, to truth over tactics. It's about asking, what's something you love about your life right now? Listening as she shares her passion, asking, what makes that so meaningful to you? Feeling her open up, her walls coming down. Validating, that's powerful. It's like the fire I feel when I'm doing what I love. You're not gaming her, you're seeing her. You're not winning her, you're meeting her. And that meeting, it's what makes her want you, because it's real. Let's go deeper, because there's a trap in every conversation that kills attraction. Neediness. You feel it when you talk to her, the urge to impress, to please, to be liked. It's in the way you laugh too hard at her jokes, agree too quickly with her opinions, chase her approval with every word. Neediness is the shadow's voice, the part of you that believes you're not enough, that her validation will make you whole. But neediness repels her because it's not connection, it's desperation. Jung would say neediness comes from denying your anima, from rejecting the feminine within you, the part that's intuitive, emotional, whole. When you deny your anima, you seek it in her, projecting your need for completeness onto her. You make her your salvation, your muse, your missing piece. But no woman wants to be your salvation. She wants to be your partner, your equal, your mirror. The dark conversation hack counters neediness by grounding you in presence. When you ask, what's the toughest thing you faced this year? When you listen as she shares her struggle? When you ask, how did you get through it? When you validate, that's incredible. It shows a strength I admire. You're not seeking her approval. You're offering your presence. You're not needing her. You're seeing her. And that shift, it's what makes you magnetic.
Have you ever noticed how neediness sabotages you? How it makes your words feel forced, your presence feel weak, your connection feel strained? The system feeds your neediness, telling you to chase her, to win her, to prove yourself. But the dark conversation hack is different. It tells you to stop chasing and start connecting. Stop seeking and start being. Stop needing and start giving. Giving your presence, your truth, your soul. A man who gives from wholeness doesn't need to take, he attracts. Here's where the hack gets darker, more strategic, but still rooted in truth. The cycle of 2 questions and a validating statement gives you informational superiority, the ability to learn about her without revealing too much about yourself. You ask, "What's a place you've always wanted to visit?" She shares her dreams of Paris. You ask, "What draws you to that place?" She talks about romance, art, freedom. You validate. "That's beautiful. It's like the pull I feel toward places that inspire me." You now know her values, her desires, her soul. But she knows little about you, except that you see her, you get her, you make her feel good. She'll tell her friends about you, but struggle to describe you, because you've given her feelings, not facts. And that mystery? It's what keeps her thinking of you, wanting you, chasing you. Jung would see this as a balance of conscious and unconscious power. You're not manipulating her, you're guiding the dance, using your presence to create a connection she craves. The system doesn't teach this because it's too powerful, too subtle, too real. It wants you spilling your life story, chasing her approval, giving away your power. But the dark conversation hack keeps you grounded, strategic, whole. You learn her world, her values, her fears, her dreams, while staying centered in your own. You create a connection she feels deeply, but you don't lose yourself in it. You're not a spy. You're a man who knows his power, who uses it to connect, not control.
But here's the warning. This power must be used with care. If you wield it without authenticity, without respect, without truth, it becomes manipulation. And manipulation cuts both ways. It disconnects you from your soul, from her, from the human need for genuine connection. Jung would say, a man who manipulates denies his anima, his shadow, his wholeness. The dark conversation hack works because it's real, because it's rooted in seeing her, not using her. Use it to connect, not to conquer, and you'll become the man she wants, not because you tricked her, but because you transformed yourself. Another layer, even more deceptive, the illusion of effortless charm. The system tells you that great conversationalists are born, not made. That charm is a gift, a natural talent, a magic you either have or don't. You watch those men who seem to effortlessly captivate women and you think, I'll never be that guy. But charm isn't a gift, it's a skill. And it's not effortless. It's the result of facing your shadow, integrating your anima, mastering your presence. And the dark conversation hack? It's the structure that makes charm possible, not by faking it, but by building it. The cycle of 2 questions and a validating statement takes effort, but it feels effortless to her. You ask, what's a moment in your life you'll never forget? She shares a memory of joy or pain. You ask, what did that teach you about yourself? She opens up, revealing her soul. You validate. That's profound. It's like the moments that shape who I am, too. She feels seen, heard, valued. And to her, it's magic. But to you, it's practice, presence, truth. Charm isn't about being perfect. It's about being real. And the hack gives you the framework to be real in a way that resonates.
Jung would say charm comes from the integration of the psyche, From balancing your masculine strength with your feminine depth, your conscious mind with your unconscious soul. The system wants you to believe charm is out of reach, because a man who believes he's not enough keeps chasing, keeps buying, keeps failing. But the dark conversation hack is a rebellion. You don't need to be born charming. You need to become whole. You don't need to fake it. You need to face it. You don't need to chase her. You need to connect with her. And the cycle of questions and validation is the bridge. Let's dig deeper, because there's a cost to the system's lies that goes beyond missed connections. It's the cost to your soul. Every time you use a line, wear a mask, play a role, you betray yourself. You chip away at your truth, your depth, your power. You become a caricature, a performer, a man defined by what others want, not who you are. And that betrayal, it's not just felt by you, it's felt by her. She senses the disconnect, the inauthenticity, the absence of your soul. And she walks away, not because you're not enough, but because you're not you. Jung saw inauthenticity as a spiritual crisis, a disconnection from the unconscious, from the archetypes that make you human. When you deny your truth, you deny your anima, your shadow, your soul. You become a hollow man, a man who attracts no one because he has nothing to give. The dark conversation hack counters this by demanding authenticity. You can't fake the cycle of two questions in a validating statement. It requires you to listen, to feel, to reflect her truth back to her. You ask, what's something you're afraid to admit? She shares a vulnerability. You ask, how does it feel to carry that? She opens her heart. You validate, that takes courage. It reminds me of the fears I've had to face. You're not just talking, you're sharing a moment, a truth, a soul. And that truth, it's what makes her want you, because it's real. Have you ever felt that hollowness after a failed conversation? That sense that you lost not just her, but yourself? Jung would say that's the moment to wake up, to confront the inauthenticity you've accepted, to demand more from yourself. The dark conversation hack isn't a shortcut. It's a mirror, showing you who you are and who you could be. It's a challenge to stop hiding and start showing up, to stop performing and start being, to stop losing yourself and start finding your soul.
Here's the deepest truth, the one that cuts to the bone. The dark conversation hack isn't about making her want you. It's about making you want yourself. Every failed interaction, every moment of disconnection, every sting of rejection is a mirror, showing you not her choice, but yours. You're choosing to hide, to perform, to stay small. But Jung's vision, paired with the cycle of two questions and a validating statement, is a call to transformation. Face your shadow, integrate your anima, become whole. The man who does this doesn't need to make a woman want him. She wants him because he's him. Jung's voice echoes across the century, fierce and unyielding. Know thyself. The weakness you feel isn't your fault, it's the system's design. The dating game, the alpha myth, the superficial hacks, they're all traps to keep you disconnected, to keep you chasing, to keep you weak. But the dark conversation hack is different. It's a tool, a process, a mindset. Ask two questions, validate her truth, repeat. What's a dream you've never told anyone? What would it mean to chase it? That's inspiring. It's like the dreams I've held close to. You're not gaming her, you're connecting with her. You're not persuading her, you're influencing her. You're not hiding, you're shining. And that shine, it's what makes her want you, because it's the light of a man who's whole. So let me ask you, how much longer will you play the system's game? How much longer will you trade your soul for a fleeting chance at her approval? You're not a player, not a performer, not a failure. You're a soul, a spark, a force on the edge of transformation, but you have to choose it. You have to choose to face your shadow, to reject the system's lies, to use the dark conversation hack not to manipulate, but to connect. Write it down in the comments. I am the transformation. Because if you've made it this far, you're not the same. You've seen what others refuse to see. You've felt what others fear to feel. Subscribe, not for me, but for you, because this isn't about entertainment, it's about awakening. Turn on that bell, because what's coming will hurt, but it will free you. Do something that scares you today. Use the cycle, 2 questions, 1 validation with a woman. Be real, be present. Look at yourself without the system's lens for 10 seconds. 10, that's enough to start. Because when you change how you show up, the world changes how it responds to you. And that, my friend, is the truth Jung lived for. Until next time, go become yourself. The game is waiting, but so is your soul.